following is a dramatic reenactment of real events. Man, those trial chambers are crazy hard. God, I won't be going back there anytime soon. My armor is taking a beating. Well, at least I got a ton of loot. Gotta find places to put this. I also got this disc. I might as well throw it in the jukebox and give it a play. Can't hurt, especially while I've got items to sort. Here we go. Ugh, creepy. Interesting. Definitely different. Holy sh... I've had this damn song stuck in my head for weeks since I first heard it. We gotta build it. Alright, first thing I do is find a spot. I thought this little spot between these two jungle trees was really nice, with a nice little beach in the back. Second off, my first idea, my very first thought, was the circus. I don't know why, but immediately when I listened to this song, I thought about the circus. I got vaudevillian dancers and feather costumes and big circus tents and those little blinky lights and like guys with like curly mustaches. I don't know. We're gonna try and channel that in this build. We're gonna make a circus tent. We're outlining it in dirt because dirt is just so easy to think about shapes. So I try to get that little circus tent peak in the middle. Also want to add some other stuff to this. I don't want it to just be a tent. I want it to be maybe a tent that somebody's rigged up some other stuff to, you know? Maybe they've made the tent more than just a tent. Maybe it's got little machines around it and electronics and generators and all sorts of things so they can actually live there. And it's not just a circus tent, it's a home that's very jerry-rigged and I get to use fun little redstone things. I don't know why. Creator just gives me these vibes, you know? Next up, build palette. Alright, so we've got our build colors all laid out here, everything we can choose from. We've got our woods here, so I'm going to choose red first. This mangrove red, this nice orange red. I think it's very circusy, and then to go with it, I'm thinking mud. Mud for sure. I like that pale brown, and we're definitely using copper in this. I think we're going to stick to the more orange ones. I know that this, you know, this waxed exposed copper, this exposed copper color is going to go really well with that mud. It's going to pair really nicely, and then I think we're just going to use the other orange copper, the plain orange copper as well. And I want a white, so I'm going to choose bone block. And then to add some variation to my white, I'm going to use smooth sandstone, keeping it light still. We're going to start placing everything out, and I'm just going to try and arrange things in a way that makes sense in my brain. It's probably not going to make sense to you, but we'll see. So I've got my oranges and reds. I'm going to put that mud there, sort of bridge our gap to when I start putting in these whites. We're going to put down the sandstone, which is technically yellow, but it's white for our purposes. Bone block, and yeah, I like that so far. I feel like it needs something more, so we're going to run it over here, grab dark oak, throw it in there, use it for some supports maybe. Also need lighting, so I'm going to put this copper bulb in here. I think that works really well. And then I want to add some shadow to our white, so we're going to put mushroom stem right next to that. And then I think for contrast for our gray, we're going to go with tough for the sort of machines around. And maybe spruce. I think spruce could be good. Yeah, no, I lied. I'm just going to go with the tough. Spruce might come in as an accent later. And then I also want to look at it at night. I always look at the build palettes at day and night so I can know what my build is going to look like any time of day. And I think we're ready to go. We're ready to start slapping some blocks onto a build. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing I do with my builds is kind of like treat it like a coloring book. I go through the outlines and I just start filling in blocks that I know are absolutely going to go there. Like I started with that red and white sort of stripy pattern at the bottom. I knew I wanted the stripy pattern because it's just the circus pattern, the circus tent pattern, and all the photos I've looked at, they're red and white vertical stripes. It needs to have it. I had a little trouble trying to space them because I decided to do 2 wide stripes, you know, like an idiot, and it just really didn't turn out that well. Don't build on evens. It's like the golden rule of building. Odds for the win every single time. Anyways, I kind of like threw this build together in like an hour because I really wasn't trying to do something big. I wanted something starter house sized, because when I try to build, like, you know, starter house, but I call it a starter house, it doesn't usually end up starter house size. It ends up way too big, and the materials are just way too hard to get. Like, imagine building this with mushroom stem in it in survival. No. Yeah, that's part of the reason I did it on my building server this time. That, and I just didn't feel like gathering materials and doing survival things. I haven't built in creative in so long. It's kind of super fun, and I totally forgot about that, especially with all the new 1.21 blocks. Anyways, I tried to make the build sort of droop down like a tent, like against the ground, and then I realized I have sandstone in my build, so I need a dirt floor. I need to change it. I can't have this sand, because otherwise it's not gonna look like the tent is drooping. It's just gonna look like it's the ground. So I changed it. And I started to add in all the mechanical stuff that I wanted to add in. I've done this little lava pipe type thing in builds before, and it's obviously one of my favorites. I usually use the acacia trapdoors because they're just the easiest. As you can see with the acacia, I kind of deviated a little bit from the palette. It happens every single time I build, so it's whatever. I stuck an auto crafter on there because I felt like it needed to be somewhere. It's big 1.21 thing. It's not explicitly trial chambers, which is where you get creator, but I felt like it needed to be there. Then I started to do all the mechanics and the wires. I don't know why I chose bamboo, but everything else, every other fence type just felt wrong. So we're just gonna go with bamboo. And I just want to shift gears for just a second and talk about the elephant in the room. I've been gone a while. Yep, a bunch of months, I'm not counting. But I'm back now. I got a new computer because my laptop sort of died. Well, it just sort of slowed down, but I couldn't record anything on it anymore, so it was basically dead. Everyone say goodbye to the almost 5-year-old Dell laptop that can barely run Premiere Pro. You will be missed. Anyway, I've got a ton of video ideas saved up, and I'm taking a school break, so extra time. Might try to upload like twice a month, try to make a schedule, but I'm not promising you anything. And hey, if you like this video so far, stick around for more, okay? Got lots planned. Anyways, back to the build. I don't know where this terraforming thing came from. It just popped into my head mid-build, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with it because I can't have that sand floor. It's just gonna blend into the build. So we went with this weird mycelium coarse dirt, like with these dripstone sort of stalagmites that come out of the ground. Not stalactites, those hang on tight on the top of the ceiling of a cave. So they're stalagmites, I guess. And they're, I don't know, it turned out really interesting. I tried to blend it into the grass with that mossy cobblestone, which gave a nice little pop of green, you know, because purple and green, close to opposites on the color wheel. I felt it worked nice. And then I added some gravel and went in with all the dripstone, make it all spiky and pointy. Either way, I like how it turned out. It was fun, experimental. I don't normally do terraforming with mycelium, and I just felt like it needed it. Then I moved on to the interior. I wanted it to be like there's a carpet on the floor, but it's kind of dirty around the edges. Like, it doesn't cover the entire like dirt floor of the place. I filled in the roof and everything there just to make it look a little nicer, clean up those rough edges. And I added some lighting. I don't know how that light is powered or suspended. You can make that up in your head. And then I decided to just go in with some of the essentials for a starter home. Really get the bed, get the bookshelves, enchanting table, even though it's not a full setup. We're going for looks here, not practicality. And then I added furnace, blast furnace, some shelves, little brewing stand, you know, the basics. And I decided to add some little weird lava, like a lava generator, like a dripstone thing. I kept going back and just messing with it because my ideas were just like coming in pieces, you know, like slowly. I was like, oh, okay, I'll add the lava generator, and then I wanted to add, you know, some food over here. And so I started that, getting the smoker, and I was like, oh, the hoppers would look nice. And then I was like, wait, I can just have it so the lava is looking like it's going straight into the smoker for fuel. And then I just, you know, filled in, cluttered, as usual. Can't have a build look nice and neat. And added the new paintings, one of them, and we're done. And now, the build.